In today's world, digital data inside a modern clinical environment does more than record information. It actively prescribes real-world physical actions. For decades, information security has rested on the CIA Triad: confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Every auditor and security professional uses these 3 points as the benchmark for system adequacy. This model was designed for a world where networks functioned as repositories, secure containers where data was stored and retrieved. In healthcare, that data now moves from the database to the bedside, dictating clinical care and access to services. This means a data point can influence financial results and clinical outcomes with equal weight. This creates a specific vulnerability. A hospital network can achieve full CIA compliance while still delivering a command that results in a medical error. Traditional security focuses on the state of the information, but the actual risk has shifted to the patient. Hardening IT infrastructure against unauthorized access provides a necessary but narrow defense. When data serves as a physical activator, the threat surface expands to include patient dignity, autonomy, and safety. Current compliance frameworks are built to monitor system stability, rather than the human-centric risks inherent in digital health. Security is evolving from a discipline that protects the system into one that protects the human beings influenced by that system. In a healthcare setting, relying on the CIA Triad alone leaves architectural gaps that do not account for patient safety. To understand these gaps, we can test 3 modern threat scenarios against the traditional checklist. First, a ransomware attack. The CIA model flags this as a loss of network availability. To the CISO, it's an uptime crisis. To medical staff, it's a lost allergy list. Second, an AI diagnostic tool hallucinates. The CIA Triad records a success. Data is confidential, the system is available, and integrity is intact. The system securely delivered a medical error. Third, a systemic privacy violation. The CIA checklist remains green. The data was not corrupted or deleted. However, the patient's personal choices were undermined. The data survived, but the individual's autonomy did not. These scenarios demonstrate that information-centric security cannot effectively govern human-centric consequences. In standard IT, recovery involves restoring from backups. In a hospital, the damage is irreversible. Restoring a database doesn't undo a misdiagnosis, and a privacy patch doesn't recall exposed medical history. A data breach in healthcare carries a different risk profile than one in a bank. Financial records can be corrected. Human lives and personal dignity cannot be reverted to a previous state. This permanence makes reactive IT patching an incomplete defense strategy. Since the damage cannot be reversed, hospital governance must be structured to prevent the harm before it occurs. This requires a new organizational model, the CDP Human Triad. The CISO, or Chief Information Security Officer, remains the first pillar. Their focus remains on the network and technical resilience, answering the question, how do we protect the systems? The second pillar is the DPO, the Data Protection Officer. They act as the guardian of the patient's autonomy under laws like the DPDPA, asking, how do we protect the individual's choices? The third and final pillar is the Patient Safety Officer, or PSO. The PSO is agnostic to the cause of a failure. Whether it is a cyber attack or an AI malfunction, their priority is the physical outcome. They ask, how do we protect the patient, irrespective of how the digital failure occurs? The CDP model decouples technical defense, legal privacy, and physical safety to ensure no operational blind spots remain. Integrating 3 specialized officers into a single hospital hierarchy presents a significant operational challenge. Without coordination, departments can become siloed, with the CISO prioritizing uptime, while the PSO requires clinical accessibility. Military command structures offer a solution. Armed forces use a Chief of Defense Staff to provide joint command over Army, Navy, and cyber divisions. Healthcare institutions must decide if the Patient Safety Officer should act as the central command, overseeing both the CISO and the DPO. Another option is the creation of a new executive designation to manage all cyber-physical risks collectively. Without this unified command, the CDP matrix remains a theory rather than a functioning defense. The scope of security responsibility now reaches beyond the protection of databases and applications. As hospitals adopt AI and digital health platforms, security teams are tasked with defending human rights and physical life. This transition is being codified in the DGPSI hospital framework, providing a path for regulators and industry leaders to embed these human-centric controls. To manage the risks of digital health platforms, the industry must move past the limitations of the CIA Triad and adopt a security architecture built for human safety.